Hello, today I'm going to show you how to configure Avantico's AMCS solution in a Contoso demo D365 environment. Once you install the AMCS solution, it will show up as a module within D365. There's a handful of things that need to be configured before you can start using it to import journals. First thing you should do is go to Shared Parameters within the AMCS module. Go to the License Validation tab, click to show the license, and then paste in the license that you will have received from Avantico. Once you validate that, it will unlock AMCS for use. Once you get this message, the next thing to do is to go and into Feature Management, which is a workspace within D365. Within Feature Management, these are some of the features that should show up. It's always a good idea to click Check for Updates in the top right to identify what should be turned on. And then you should decide which of these items should be turned on. I should note that there are some dependencies, so you might want to enable the ledger journals first. Only some options will be available in the free version of AMCS. Once you have enabled the features that you want to use, then go back to Shared Parameters and go to Number Sequences. Here you'll need to load the number sequences. When you refresh your page, you will get access to the different types of number sequences that are relevant. For the free version, only the ledger journal imports will be relevant. Create a number sequence code for this purpose. This is simply to track within AMCS the different sequential imports. This has nothing to do with the your journal batch number or voucher or anything else. It's simply for AMCS. I recommend putting in a constant of some sort at the front of your entry, and then you'll also need an alphanumeric. That fits within your number sequence. So this will start with AMCS 000001. Back in shared parameters, you'll be able to assign this number sequence code. Next up is to initialize your import templates. So if you go to the setup section of AMCS, go to the import templates, go to general at the top and regenerate templates. This will take just a moment, but this will populate the list of all templates relevant to AMCS. If you take a version update and there are new templates, you'll need to do this again in order to update your list of templates to the latest. Next, you will want to go back to the AMCS solution setup and go to import dimension mapping. This will define the dimension mappings for all of your different forms within D365 for all legal entities. So if I duplicate my tab, and let's go say to my ledger form for this legal entity, I'm in a Microsoft demo environment, so your environment will look different. But within the ledger form, it will tell you which account structures are in use for your legal entity or legal entities, and you'll want to define your dimension mapping based on those. So in this case, because this is Contoso, this is the account structure that I want to work against. So I'll open that. And I can see that the order of dimensions is business unit, department, cost center, and item group. If I come back here and I click new, D1 represents the first dimension. Let's assume that all companies are using the business unit for their first dimension. Second dimension is department, so that is D2. Third dimension is cost center. And fourth dimension is item group. Let's say that I know that in some legal entities, the fourth dimension represents a different dimension. I can come in and either I could set D5 to be the dimension for that company, or what we typically suggest is to say D4, but for a particular legal entity, is actually a different dimension. In this case, it is called product group in the Contoso data. So if a company is not specified in this list, it will fall back to whatever the default setup is, but you can set up different dimensions for different legal entities. If you use financial tags, we also support mapping in the same way. It is the same approach. The final step to configure AMCS for ledger journal imports is to go to ledger journal and then setup and journal names and define a journal name to be used for this purpose. Some key setups you may want to consider is the automatic processing. This is the default behavior when you load in a journal, whether it will just only stage the journal, it will stage the journal and do an initial validation, which at a minimum is what we would recommend. Will it transfer the lines into the legal entities that the journal is for? Will it run journal validation within those legal entities, and will it post the journal within those legal entities automatically? So this is just defining the default behavior when you do an initial import. Let's say we will set it to check lines. Other important decisions that you should make at this point is, will you attach your upload file to the journals that get created? And will you copy those from the staging table to the journals that get created in the different legal entities, which would be this flag? Finally, if you were going to set up global workflow or global basic approvals, you would do so here. Within the company-specific journal name section, if the journal name within the legal entity is not this gen, as you see here, but it actually represents something else, you'll need to specify down here, like let's say in the USMF company, we actually want this to use a different journal name. We could pick that here from the list. So the default behavior is that it will try to match the name of this journal, but if you want to specify a different journal ID for a legal entity, you can do so down here in the company-specific journal name section. That concludes the configuration of AMCS for general journal imports. Please keep in mind that we support other types of ledger journals, including AP, invoice and payment journals, customer payment journals, fixed asset journals, and so on. Now I'd like to load a test file to ensure that everything's configured correctly. To do that, go into the AMCS module. Under Ledger Journal and Inquiries, go to Ledger Journal Imports. Click Functions and Import GL file. Select your journal name. You may change the description or the automatic processing if you wish, but these are defaulted from the journal setup. Select your file for import and click OK. And if you've correctly configured your AMCS solution, then it should come in with this message that your lines have validated OK. You may transfer that to the different legal entities within your sample, and please check our resource materials for sample files that might help you get up to speed on our import templates. Then go to Functions and Post to validate and post the journal. In this case, it is going to two different legal entities. If you run into issues with this process, please reach out to us at Avantico. We would be happy to help you get started. Thank you. And if you're interested in other advanced features, please check back with our latest materials to see what's available in case you're interested in our premium version. Thanks very much.